did I tell you? GameStop with another W. Didn't I tell you that these companies are pushing for $1,000 consoles? And now Dreamcast guy has seen the first leak of the PlayStation 6 and the PS5 Pro ain't even come out, man. If that ain't a scam already, then I don't know what to tell you people. But what's even more funny about this, I'm on record saying that these consoles are trying to push for $1,000 and y'all people didn't want to believe me. And like I said, I even stated that I would even buy one. But if we're spending $1,000 on a gaming console, then there better be some drastic differences. Like, if we're getting the same exact games from last generation, then no. Then there should be no reason for a $1,000 console. But if we're actually getting next generation games the way we're supposed to, like how we did with the PS1, 2, and PS3, or even the Xbox and the 360, then I'm all for paying $1,000 for a gaming console as long as physical media still exists.
First Dreamcast guy here, and today we're talking about the PlayStation 6.
Woo!
Serious. Despite the fact that the
PlayStation 5 has done so bad that Sony's already thinking about dropping the PlayStation 6. How laughable.
5 has only been out for about 4 years. The fact that the PS5 Pro has not yet even been officially released, or even any sort of technical specification.
Told y'all,
specifically,
GameStop with another W.
About the PS5 Pro has been released. Today we got our first dedicated actual leaked details about the PlayStation 6, and while they don't reveal a lot about the launch of the PlayStation 4, so it's wild that we're already discussing PlayStation 6 leaks, but
no, it's not, because this generation is almost over. By the time Microsoft drops their games, we're going to be leading into the next generation of gaming consoles, man. I try to warn you guys, man. I try to tell you that this console generation was so horrible, and look at it. It ended before most of you people even noticed. Oh, but we still waiting for good games on the PS5, though. Well, I guess you could play those PS5 games on your PlayStation 6 because PlayStation is over. It's finished, bro. This whole generation was garbage, and all you people wanted to do was fight with me in the comment section. I told you, you guys bought nothing but a glorified PlayStation 4 Pro. That's all you got was a remastered PlayStation 4 Pro with another Pro on it. Actually, no, it's a PlayStation 4 Pro.
Be the most worried about, even though it's probably not coming out for a while.
You got the PS4 Pro, and then you got the PS5. You got the PS5 that plays like a PS4 Pro, and now you got the actual PS5 Pro. That is 3 PlayStation Pros that y'all bought.
Which is the idea of how cheap can it be? If the PlayStation 5 Pro is $700, does that mean
for a minor upgrade,
PlayStation 6, if it theoretically comes out 4 years from now, say like 2028, will it also be $700?
No, I think they're starting to notice that they can no longer do the budget price of $499. I think companies are starting to realize that, hey, there's a lot of gamers out here complaining, like us, saying that, hey, man, we're doing last generation games, man, and all this, man. I think Sony, what they're doing, they're capitalizing and making as much money as they can through their subscription service. I can guarantee that the PlayStation 6, hopefully, I would hope, would be much better than a PlayStation 5. It seems like all they're doing is scavenging all their money, and then they're going to go all out with the PlayStation 6. But they don't want to do that for the PS5 because then that will just take the excitement out of the PlayStation 6. So they got to keep things nice and boring for you guys while also collecting that check. I think Sony's doing this very wisely because a lot of the games that you guys are playing ain't really next generation anyway. And Sony don't feel the need to actually have to make these drastic changes. But they do know by the end of, like what he said, 2028, they're going to have to do something drastic if they want to be able to continue to make consoles and to stay in business.
And as a base console, that's the part that's difficult to discern. But here is the good news about it. So apparently, Intel was trying to get access to be the official chip to PlayStation 6. So AMD is currently the person that makes all the chips for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. So the PlayStation 5 runs on AMD chip.
And the Xbox runs on the same exact hardware.
Now, the reason I am considering this loss of a contract to be a good thing is that
I don't like AMD. No. It's not a good thing because AMD is the reason as to why all your games play the same. I'm sorry, bro. I don't respect AMD. I mean, at the end of the day, AMD is using the console format so they can help build their own little PC thing. That's what's going on here, man. They want to become the main manufacturer when it comes to making consoles. You feel what I'm saying? That's why they got involved with Sony and Microsoft. I personally don't like them. I don't like AMD, man. I feel like the hardware is just not as good in my personal opinion. It could be much better, but it's affordable, and that's probably why these companies mess with them.
Apparently, where talks broke down is that essentially when they were both bidding with Sony to see who gets to make the official guts of the next gen console.
Oh, you hear that? You hear that? So that means Microsoft and Sony already knew what was going to go on. You heard that. That's why their systems are the same on paper. You bro, look at that. Now you know there's no such thing as a console war now.
The big discussion was profit margins of essentially saying, okay, how many billions of dollars are we going to make off this, right? I mean, that's definitely what these companies are
Well, we already know why Sony and Microsoft went with AMD, because it's cheaper.
To do is make the most money possible, but what was happening is that the actual profit margins on these consoles, even Sony stuff, are actually pretty low.
But I thought you guys said that Sony was making money on these consoles. GameStop, what another W. Another reason as to why it doesn't pay to be a fanboy, because then you start realizing that the hypocrisy gets destroyed right in front of your faces. Who stated that these companies don't make that much money with these consoles? Ding, 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 ding. I did.
Because PlayStation sells these systems at a loss. Pretty much.
Oh! You heard? All I can do. Look at this. You see this? All this capping that y'all was talking about. Oh, Sony make money off the hardware, when I've explained to you that they didn't. This has been going on since the beginning of console gaming, bro. What they used to do, they used to sell the console at a loss, and people would buy software for that said console. I've stated this so many different times. People that have adamantly watched my channel know that I've talked about this, okay? Years prior to even you bringing this up.
Sure does. Xbox, Nintendo sells their stuff at a profit, but a lot
of course, because it's weak hardware.
Times you're just trying to sell your console for literally the cheapest you possibly can, because games are where you actually make.
You know what I find so funny about this situation is the fact that now he's trying to take my talking points. No, stick to what you was originally saying about how Sony makes a lot of money off their PS5 and how the Xbox is outselling the Series X and S 4-1. Stick with that narrative, bro. Don't change up on us now, because nobody cares, bro. Because now you're out here looking like a complete fool. All that stuff that you said that Sony was making money off consoles got debunked by even your own self.
Your money. Everything that sells on a PlayStation, even digitally through the storefront, even microtransactions, Sony takes 30% off the top. So Sony.
And how do you think that doesn't work for Microsoft's Game Pass Ultimate? That means Microsoft gets majority of the profit because people are buying their console for Game Pass Ultimate, which means that they're pocketing every single one of that, every single cent of that money.
Of course, is trying to sell.
Now you're starting to understand the appeal of service and subscriptions and how selling console exclusives don't matter, and they never did.
As many tens of millions of PlayStations as they possibly can, because that's the real profit earner, which means the people that are designing the guts, the chips in this case, they're not making that much. So,
but yet you pony said otherwise.
Essentially, Intel was like, okay, how much are we going to make out this?
Yeah, because Intel, now you know what's funny? This ain't the console wars. This is the hardware wars, man. I'm very shocked that nobody's talking about the fight that AMD and Intel have going on in regards to wanting to take that fair share, market share of what's going on with these consoles hardware. They want a piece of that pie. You see what I'm saying? Microsoft and Sony said, hey, man, we don't really see the need to do consoles anymore. AMD, this is something that you guys like to do. You guys do it for us. You know? How come y'all didn't talk about this forbidden war that's going on behind the scenes, but y'all worried about Xbox and Sony? Bro, those days is over, bro. As far as I'm concerned, Intel and AMD are having this so-called quote-unquote hardware war because this is stuff they do. You feel what I mean? So obviously they want their stuff to be out there in the limelight, you feel me, in regards to PC as well as console gaming. So that's the only real war going on here.
You guys are selling at a loss. We're not selling it at a loss. So there was a lot of haggling about that, and essentially they decided to stick with AMD because of this backwards compatibility. Now, I am so happy about this because apparently they were.
Well, of course, the reason as to why they did that, and that has more to do with the PS4 and the Xbox One, which all use AMD. You see what I'm saying? So Intel coming in here with this, of course they're not going to go with the Intel because they just use that and say, okay, both of these systems are AMD. Let's make the PS5 and the Series S and X. These also have AMD, so which we could also take backwards compatibility as an option going forward.
Internally, it sounds like no matter what, they were going to have backwards compatibility. They were going to figure it out. But going from one chip to a different chip, it would have been very difficult. Now, a lot of people here on the PlayStation 5 subreddit are saying, thank God, because, man, the backwards compatibility that lacked in the PlayStation 3, that did suck at the time. The PlayStation 3, some versions of it were $500 back in...
Bruh. But hold on, but aren't you justifying picking up the PS5 Pro that offers literally nothing? Even the screenshots and the games look the same. Are you really going to sit there and bash the PS3, even though the PS3 at the time of when it came out, which I do have one, was actually worth the money?
2006, which was obviously prohibitively expensive.
Well, that was very expensive during those times, but let's not lie and say that you wasn't getting a PS1, 2, 3, and a Blu-ray player, which also cost about the same of a PS3 that you could pick up. Free online, the SD4 USBs, you had where you could put flash drives and memory and all that on it. There's a lot of stuff that you could do with that base PS3 backwards compatibility model. And you out here saying that that wasn't worth $600. Really? Okay.
And people were kind of going, okay, I have this massive PlayStation 2 collection that doesn't play on my PlayStation 3.
Guys, oh my God, bro. I'm sitting here saying, excuse me? What are you talking about, bro? PS1 and 2 games play on the PS3? Especially after you brought up 2006. Okay, so he's probably talking about the slim models. Cut it out. But even then, those slim models play PS1s as well. What are you talking about, bro? The PS3 played PS1, 2, and 3 games, especially in 2006. That is your argument. Now, if you want to sit there and say it was for the slim, then and then a few of these bigger, fat models, okay then. But you specifically said 2006. Oh, you can't play, PS2 games on... Bruh, do you guys understand how ridiculous that sounds, bro?
Caused a lot of ire and upset. So the fact
that's the reason as to why Sony removed a lot of those core features and made the slim model, because it was cheaper, because they took every single aspect that the original models had, which was the backwards compatibility and all that Blu-ray, all that stuff that they had, and removed it. They essentially took out that additional cost with the SDs, the SD, the USB flash drives and all that, the little thing on the side.
Now Sony realizes, okay, PlayStation 4 games playing on PlayStation 5 has been a huge success. So if we can keep those AMD chips, that means the PlayStation...
That just means we're going to get more remasters and remakes. Yay!
6 at launch will hypothetically, obviously I don't have a crystal ball, it will be able to play the entirety of the PlayStation 4 catalog, the PlayStation 5 catalog.
Well, that ain't saying much. You know why I'm going to say that ain't saying much? And this is where it hurts Sony the most. Because, one, it's not PS1 and 2. Y'all like, why is it a big deal? PS3, that's 3 of Sony's generations that will be fondly missed. PS4 and PS5 is the same to me. Huh? What you mean? God of War Ragnarok, PS4, PS5. So y'all want to sit there and say, oh, the PS6 can play these games. Okay, technically speaking, right? But so can my PS5. So can my PS4. We got Last of Us Remake. You could carry that over to the... Bro, really? It's a PS3 game. I can play it on PS3, PS4, 5, and now 6? Are you kidding me? That to me, backwards compatibility is horrible. What I want to hear is how I could take my PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games, put it in my PlayStation 6, and play it that way. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear this. Oh, well, PS6 is backwards compatible with PS5, so you can play Until Dawn Remake. Well, 1, I could play that on my PS5 if I wanted to. 2, I could play the game on the PS4, which is the first original version. But come on, man. I don't like this, bro. And this is why I don't like the way Sony's remastering their games, because it kind of makes their backwards compatibility option obsolete.
All probably upscaled to the PlayStation 5 Pro specifications, and also all PlayStation 6 games. Now, people are kicking around when this is going to come out, but according to actual documents, part of the Activision Blizzard case, Sony said themselves that they're not planning to launch their next console until 2028 at the earliest. Now,
wow, 2028 until that, man, that's how long you guys got to wait to get some good games? Wow. That's 4 years, bro.
these are just
Well, I guess Xbox can help you out in the meantime.
legal specifications. I'm not saying they're a liar, but on the next generation, this isn't.
PS5 Pro trailer finds Alan Wake Assassin's Creed running at 864p. Look at this, bro. I thought, where's the 4K? Where the 4K, right? Where the 4K? Where the 8K? 864p?
A big surprise.
Wow, so much for a next generation console on the PS5 Pro?
Happened with the previous generations as well. There was leaks about the PlayStation 3's dev kit about halfway through the cycle of the PlayStation 2, although that was all in gaming magazines 20 years ago at this pretty much. But my point is the fact that I am glad that Sony is being so forward thinking about how much they could do with the PlayStation 6, because
this is embarrassing, bro. You're telling me that Alan Wake 2 Assassin's Creed Shadows are going to be running at 864p on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I thought the PS5 Pro was to get the high resolution and performance. What is this? This is a downgrade, bro. These are Series S specs.
The PlayStation 5 Pro, the PlayStation 5, these systems are still so powerful.
It's so powerful that it's running Alan Wake 2 at 864p at 60 frames per second. Oh, that's not Alan Wake 2 is a linear game, bro. Come on, man.
To me, that we keep almost having this arms race where games keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, now it's getting bigger and better, but when it's Xbox doing this type of resolution, there ain't no problem.
And somehow running worse and worse. Not that, I mean, obviously I'm obsessed with Alan Wake 2 and I think that game looks good, but it's baffling that it's such a low resolution. Mm-hmm. Now, kind of insulting Intel for not managing to work this deal out. I see a lot of people saying, okay, this could have generated $30 billion for you.
Yeah, actually, I think Intel would have been better. You know what I mean? I think their stuff is a lot better, but AMD sealed the deal when they put back AMD hardware in the Xbox One and PS4. So they were able to strike a deal immediately. They're like, okay, well, you know, this new platform, well, the backwards compatibility should be an easier option now because it's the same thing. So the AMD kind of secured their space in regards to console gaming.
You know, this could have been a big deal. This is ridiculous that they managed to mess it up. But I am still glad about the fact that Sony is clearly trying to do what they've done in the past, which is try to make it have the biggest adoption rate possible. I did see this tweet by Puerto Rico. I'm not sure how
Puerto Rock.
This gentleman's name is, but PlayStation 6 will be like the PS5 based product. It's for mass adoption. Therefore, the PlayStation 6 cost will be subsidized, meaning selling it at a loss. PS5 Pro is not subsidized, which is why it's ridiculously expensive because it's being sold for a profit. Now, don't spend the next 4 years crying. Strong words, but I do think the talk and fear about PlayStation 6 that's currently existing in this early leak is just how pricey could it possibly be?
$1,000. I'm calling it right now. If Sony's gonna go do the real, like if we want real next generation, and this is the gamble that console gamers have to deal with. These companies are not taking these losses anymore, guys. So if we want to see next generation games the way that we remembered during the PS3 and 360, you're gonna have to spend that $1,000, baby. You're gonna have to. This is what console and PC gamers are laughing. They're like, "Oh my god, y'all! Now if to own PS6 and Xbox Double X, y'all gotta pay $1,000 each." You know what I mean? And this is why Microsoft don't see the need for consoles, bro. It's becoming obsolete, man. PC is by far showing as to why they're the better option now. It's crazy. Now people are gonna look at this and say, "Man, I'm definitely getting my PC, man. Screw this."
Even be because. If this thing does cost $1,000, that pile here is...
And it probably won't be with a disc drive, and that's another concerning thing about this. All the physical games that you guys are buying, they're a waste.
Being silly, he's a big PlayStation lover, but like people are being like, okay, there's no way it could cost $1,000.
Y'all said there was no way an upgrade could cost $700. Now you're gonna sit there and argue that an actual next generation console will sell at $1,000, bro. I'm 100% sure that's what Sony's gonna do. I'm gonna stick to that.
I'll see you guys in PlayStation 6 launches in 4 years. I'll remember everybody that told me to be $1,000. I'll be honest, I don't think this is that outlandish. I'm not happy about it because I am a perpetual cheap ass, but I would not be shocked if the PlayStation 6 does cost $1,000.
That's exactly. And you know what's funny? Who called this out, man? Y'all, it's about time. Throw me my flowers, man. That's all I do is win. Like, I've never really been wrong in this community, man. I've always told y'all the truth, and all y'all people wanted to do was fight with me, bro. Now we see it for ourselves that Sony is trying. I told y'all this. They're going to try to. The Pro is essentially them testing the waters to see if you guys would be comfortable and picking up that $1,000 PlayStation 6. Maybe that's when gaming will get good. Unfortunately, we have to waste 4 years of our life to see that now. All they're doing is they're stalling the inevitable. They're going to let people enjoy their little third-party games, Call of Duty's, Grand Theft Auto 6s, and I think Sony will turn it around because they're going to salvage all that money that they got with the PS5 with their subscription service of people playing these games, and there you go. And we might actually get a good console with the PS6. We might actually get one. You know what I mean? But like as of right now, Sony's just stalling, you know what I mean? So when he sat there, so it's Xbox's fault for why Sony don't have a competitive drive. No, it's Sony's fault because Sony didn't see this coming. And Sony has to stall the inevitable. They can't just give you guys all the games right now. They got to save it for later. So to be honest with you, the PS5 and this generation should even exist. Like, imagine that, bro. We are essentially in the same, I'm going to say it right now. We are in the same exact generation as the Xbox One and PS4. All you guys did was buy a souped up PlayStation 4. Okay? You bought a souped up PS4. So you bought the PS4. If you bought the Slim, that's 2. You bought the Pro, that's 3. You bought the PS5, that's a PS4 Pro, that's 4. Like, bro, now you're buying the PS5 Pro. Like, this is ridiculous, man. The PS5 is literally a PS4 Pro. This is crazy. I'm going to try to make sense with this. So you got the PS4. You got the PS4 Slim. That's 2. You got the PS4 Pro. That's 3 systems y'all bought. And now y'all buying, and y'all want to talk about console gaming is cheaper than PC. Okay. And then you're buying you bought the PS5, which is essentially the PS4 Pro. And now you bought the PS5 Slim. We'll cut that one out. And then now you're buying the PS5, which is a PS4 Pro, and another Pro. All y'all doing is buying refined consoles of the same thing. That's why y'all playing the same games, man. I'm telling you, this generation was a fluke. What they did, I know what these scam artists did. What they did, they extended the longevity of this generation through cross-generation, man. I'm not saying Xbox One and PS4 did it, but they definitely let it go at some point. We're going to see a lot more of this. We are, okay? We're going to see a lot of this. So we say 10 years. So they extended it to 11 years. PS4 generation is still going on, and that probably explains as to why they're still making games for it.
We'll see what money is worth then. We'll see how the economy is doing then. But just in general, this number is ridiculously expensive. I think it sucks, but I don't think it's impossible. Like, obviously, he's being silly here, saying no controller, no cables.
It probably won't have a disk drive.
I think there is a good chance that the disk drive edition of the PlayStation 6 may actually cost $1,000.
Told you. You know, it's funny. Gamester with another W. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like I said, take care, bro. When is the last time I've ever been wrong in this community? But hey, man, you guys are going to still fight with me regardless. Peace out.